Welcome to the sixth session of the ELT Training Sessions 2025, organized by SBS Librería Internacional in partnership with Ricardo Palma University and its Language Center, Idiomas Ricardo Palma. My name is Simon Schwarzenberg, and I will be your host for today's event. For those joining us for the first time, allow me to briefly introduce the ELT Training Sessions. These professional development workshops are designed for English teachers seeking to enrich and enhance their teaching practice. Our goal is to explore a wide range of topics related to methodology, current trends in language teaching, and other key areas that help improve the quality of English instruction. Now, we invite you to learn more about SBS Librería Internacional through the following video. Let's go, team.
SBS, Librería Internacional, ha sido el pilar de la educación y el aprendizaje de idiomas extranjeros en el Perú. Nuestra destacada trayectoria y firme compromiso nos han permitido establecer alianzas con editoriales de renombre mundial, como Oxford University Press, Pearson, Cambridge, National Geographic Learning, Penguin Random House, Planeta, entre otras. Además de contar con nuestro propio sello, SBS Editorial, estas colaboraciones nos capacitan para ofrecer una selección sin igual de títulos, que abarcan desde textos académicos especializados hasta las últimas novedades literarias. Con 15 librerías en las principales ciudades del país y una plataforma en línea que extiende nuestro alcance a nivel nacional e internacional, no solo proporcionamos contenidos, sino que también brindamos una experiencia personalizada en cada compra. Nuestra oferta incluye una amplia variedad de recursos en enseñanza de idiomas, ciencias sociales, literatura, infantil, negocios, diseñados para estudiantes, docentes y apasionados del conocimiento. Con el programa SBS Más Educación, nos especializamos en la capacitación de docentes de idiomas. Colaboramos con figuras reconocidas en la enseñanza de idiomas para ofrecer formación avanzada en metodologías pedagógicas. Nuestro enfoque no solo mejora la enseñanza de los idiomas, sino que también abre puertas a un mundo de oportunidades. Capacitamos a educadores para que a su vez puedan preparar a sus alumnos para el futuro. Contamos con una variedad de programas, como ELT Training Sessions y el TDC Teaching Development Conference, que abarcan tanto formaciones presenciales como capacitaciones virtuales. En SBS Librería Internacional, creemos firmemente que la educación y la cultura son fundamentales para una sociedad próspera. Nos esforzamos por impulsar un cambio positivo y construir un futuro lleno de posibilidades para el Perú y el mundo.
Thank you, team. Ricardo Palma University and SBS Librería Internacional are strategic partners and have worked together in making these academic sessions possible. Ricardo Palma University is a leading institution of higher education. Throughout our 56-year history, we have continually adapted to a rapidly changing world. We're a multidisciplinary university that promotes humanism and professional success. Through our specialization program in English language teaching, we work hard to prepare highly qualified teachers who contribute to educational transformation in our country. To learn more about Idiomas Ricardo Palma and their contribution to teacher training, we invite you to watch the following video. Let's go, team.
¿Eres profesor de inglés y buscas que tus estudiantes dominen el idioma? El programa de especialización en enseñanza del idioma inglés de la Universidad Ricardo Palma, PEI, es para ti. Está dirigido a profesores que buscan mejorar sus perspectivas laborales y liderar en la enseñanza de inglés. El contenido del programa ha sido especialmente diseñado para que domines los procesos de enseñanza-aprendizaje de inglés en la era digital. Como estudiante del PEI, tienes acceso a conferencias a cargo de expositores internacionales del más alto nivel. Recibes el material y plataforma digital de forma gratuita. Lo último en la enseñanza del inglés en el programa más completo del mercado. Gracias a su doble certificación, accedes al examen internacional TOEFL ITP de manera gratuita. Cuentas además con una biblioteca exclusiva y préstamo de libros. El programa te permitirá trabajar con niños, jóvenes y adultos. Vive una experiencia única. Las inscripciones ya están abiertas. Únete al PEI y conviértete en líder en esta fascinante área de la educación.
Thank you very much. Now, an important announcement. At the end of at the end of the session, a link will appear in the description to register your attendance. So this step is essential in order to receive your certificate of participation. So please pay close attention when we give you the instruction. Once you click on the link, make sure to complete the attendance form. The certificates will be sent by email within 10 business days. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce Monica Melendez. She holds a licentiate degree in translation and interpreting in English and French with a minor in English teaching, issued by Ricardo Palma University, a master's degree in education, educational policies and management by San Martin University, a diploma in management of educational institutions and innovation in education, issued by EUCIM Spain, a diploma in management of educational centers by IPAE, a teaching in higher education programs by Bausate y Mesa University, a diploma in coaching given by CPUC, the TESOL program for language program administrators, diploma issued by the University of Maryland in Baltimore County, the specialization in teaching English as a foreign language by PUC. She's a twice recipient of the Non-Traditional Student Scholarship at the University of Boulder, Colorado, USA. She was an English teacher at different language centers and schools until 2006. From 2006 to 2015, an academic supervisor of the adult program at IBNA and a coordinator of the academic area at Eurodiomas. Currently, she is the director of the specialization program in English language teaching at Ricardo Palma University. She's also the director of the Language Center and the coordinator of the English courses at the Basic Studies program at Ricardo Palma University. So, Ms. Melendez, a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, almost good evening for the ones that are joining right now. And as I know, the video will be uploaded maybe at the end of the session. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening for whomever joins later on. I would like to start by thanking Simon for the kind welcome, to SBS for inviting us for a third consecutive year to bring information in ELT. And I would also like to thank you for dedicating your time to your professional growth. This topic is wide, and I think it's something that we are talking like every day, or if not talking, at least thinking about. So without further ado, I would like the team to give me a hand by sharing the video. Not the video, sharing first our PowerPoint presentation. As you have seen, today's topic and the thing that has brought to you this afternoon is the future of teaching English. And I would like to start by asking you to go to the following, before we see the agenda, to go to the following QR in this link. In this Padlet, we are going to start interacting. I would also like to ask you to write on the YouTube chat, for those seeing us on YouTube, where you are connecting from. Are you in Lima? Are you in Arequipa? Are you in Cusco? Are you in Huancayo? Are you abroad? Are you at the beach? Where are you? Arequipa. Thank you so much, Arequipa and Trujillo. So we are doing two things right now, right? And with a cup of coffee near us, because it's still winter time, though it should be spring by now. I would like you to do two things, please. Write on the chat where you are joining this session from and join the Padlet. So right now I will be sharing the information that I am asking you to please fill. What do we have there? We have a question, and the question is, when we talk about the future of education, what comes to your mind? What is this image or this word that for you describes the future? I wrote this expression, the future of education, on Google, and I would like to show you what I found this might not be a surprise. I mean, how Google Images describe or what are the hits that we get when we write down on Google on the search bar the future of education. But before we do that, I would like to see how you describe it. So I am seeing right now that people have joined and they are looking for the picture. I have 4 people here, so I'm not sharing it yet. So I'm asking you to please write either a word or an image. I have 7 people joining the Padlet. Thank you very much. I will be updating it to see the words or the images that you think better describe the future of English. I will place my own. Let's see. And I will start by saying hello to Tacna, many people from Lima, Chimbote, um, where from Lima, from Arequipa. Thank you very much. What's the weather like in Arequipa right now? All right. So let's take a look at the information that you have shared with us. I don't know if this is a surprise to you. Do you see the images that I'm sharing right now? When we write about the future of education, everything is digital, right? Tell me if you can see the images that I am sharing right now. Do you? Let's see. I don't see them here. Let's see. I can see I can see my PowerPoint. I don't know if you all right. So let me share the screen one more time, and I will share right now this. First, can you see my screen? I will place on the PowerPoint presentation what, there you go. Thank you so much. Does this coincide with the information you have shared on the Padlet? Did you think that the future of education, apparently for the world, is filled with technology, and from this technology, we have digital elements everywhere, right? Digital devices, digital tools, AI prevailing in the future of education. Let's take a look at this other image. Thank you very much. We're going to see now what you have shared. All right. So I'm now on the Padlet. Can you see the information? Wow. AI power learning paths, tech driven AI classes. Hello from Huancayo. AI learning, education, more technological education, e-learning, fully personalized through AI and immersive technologies, making learning emotional and globally connected, technology, devices, media, technology, beyond school. Okay, we have an idea where we coincide that is additional to technology. And I think we are on the same line. When we started with gathering the information for today's presentation, we saw that everything had to do with technology. We saw, let's take a look at the presentation. There you go. We saw that everything had to do with technology. So my first question was, technology is part of our lives and has penetrated education, and apparently it has changed educational paradigms. Nothing else before, um, even in the period of the Industrial Revolution, has changed education the way digital tools and basically AI has changed education. So we are seeing different classrooms now, because for the past 200 years or maybe 150, what we have seen basically is one person in front of a group of students, and this group of students sitting taking notes, right, with a handwriting, right, with a notebook, with a book. And I don't see those elements in what you shared, and I don't see those elements in Google. So this is today's presentation. We're going to talk about how kids learn, how grown-ups learn, what that has to do with life skills in the age of AI. UNESCO calls it the age of AI. And what is English going to, how it is going to be taught? Is it going to be only with computers? Is it going to be in real life scenarios? What is it going to be like in the future? So let's take a look. I will share you have the link to the Padlet. I'm going to leave it there for you to take a look back when we end the session, okay, to see if what I have shared coincides with what you brought to today's session. The future of teaching English is the future of education. One of the things that we always say here at Ricardo Palma University, and we have been saying ever since the specialization program started, is that the teaching of English leads the way all the other subjects and all the other areas are taught. Do you agree? Please tell me in the YouTube chat whether you agree or not. I can tell because I used to observe classes like 20 or 30 sessions, or maybe a little bit more a month, back in the day when I was a supervisor at a binational center. I used to see in those times that the way we taught kids and the way we taught adults was different, and there were teachers that taught both, and they had like different personalities and different switches. They taught one way kids and they taught one way adults, but one thing remained: group work, pair work, people talking, people having fun. And this has moved from the English or the ELT scenario to all the other subjects. In those days, when we didn't have smartphones, because I'm talking about 2006, there was one thing that made the teaching of English the same regardless of the group. And that was that there was a lot of interaction. Teachers were asking students to back up their ideas, to explain, to give 2, 3, 4 oral paragraph sentences, yes, 4 sentences, to make oral paragraphs, to write in four, five, six connected or complex ideas. We were making people open up to talk about their lives, their likes, their families, their neighborhoods, their studies, their everyday activities, and that has prevailed. And nowadays, we see in all the other scenarios when people are learning math, when they are learning geography, name some other subjects here in the chat. They are doing that now. People are working in groups, people are collaborating, they are giving presentations. So 20, 30 years ago, we were already doing that. And the history of teaching English is rich in different approaches, different methods, different techniques. Since the specialization program started, we said that. We said that the teaching of English is leading the way to all the other subjects and all the other areas. And we believe that, and we work towards that to keep on being leaders. But there are some things we need to take into account when working with kids and when working with grown-ups. The way or the term that we have to use when we talk about teaching English to kids or teaching to kids in general is called pedagogy. And the way we work, or the term, the scientific term that we need to use when we refer to working with grown-ups or with adults, is called andragogy. So these two are ways to teach, and they are filled with information that will make us make the right decisions. Kids are in a developmental process. They are learning things that have to do with English, but also have to do with life. They like to explore, they like to interact, they should not be seated for a very long time. They might question your authority, but they are they are going to behave probably towards exploration, motivated on things that are external. They are going to be naturally curious. One thing that happens that you might know is that at age 9 or 10, kids stop drawing. Drawing is one of the most creative things humans can do, but because of scenarios that limit creativity, they stop doing that. And that shouldn't be the way. So, those are things that we need to take into account. To make creative classes, we have to force ourselves to be extremely creative, and we need to nurture that creativity. We teachers, how can we do that? We need to go to the movies, we need to go to see plays, we need to go out, we need to take breaks to be creative and to bring that creativity to our kids when we are working with kids, whether it's preschool, primary, and enjoy. Life is the school. Life is what happens when you are with your students in class. Life is not something that we put off after college. Life is not what we are going to do when we graduate from college and we have a job. Life is that very same moment, and it needs to be a moment of joy. If you don't believe that classrooms for kids need to be places for interaction, science is telling you that you have to, because this has been developed after long periods of studying how kids behave and how they learn. So we as professionals need to abide by science, and we need to do what science tells us. And also conduct the studies in our everyday work through journals and similar items to make things better than what science generally tells us. And what happens when we work with the grown-ups, when we work with adults? Are they naturally curious? Some of them, not all of them. There are other features. They are driven by work, getting certificates, developing skills that will help them in specific situations, as it is mentioned here, typically motivated by specific goals, yes, such as professional growth, a better salary, higher incomes. So we are driven, we are self directed, we are goal oriented. So teachers that work with grown-ups need to have this into account, and they need to show from the very start what the objective is. And this objective needs to be connected to real life purposes. So we are seeing a little bit of difference, right? Do they need to stop being curious? No. We have to keep on telling people to be curious, to develop their creativity, because as we are going to see in a minute, in a world filled with technological devices and AI, the only thing that is going to make us thrive is our curiosity, our creativity, and our human features. At the end of the session, or the day you get the certificate, we are going to share a summary of today's presentation for you to have this chart with you and take it into account when you develop your lessons. So if we are if we are talking about, and if we are working with kids and grown-ups, we need to take into account these generational gaps and the generational features. Why? Because there is a moment when technological devices penetrate life and change society, change human interaction. You know that 10 or 20 years ago, people used to have, when they wrote, they used to have like sore hands and problems with their hands because they wrote a lot, right? Some with their fingers. And now what we have is problems because we are holding cell phones for too long. So things have changed. We used to have back problems because we used to spend a lot of time sitting and writing. And now people are having problems with their necks because they are putting their heads like this because of using their cell phones for extremely long periods of time. So, social interactions, movement, everything has changed ever since smartphones brought the world on the palm of our hands. And these generations are, to some extent, different. Which are the alphas? These are the kids that are born, or from that were born like 12 years ago, and from 0 to 12 years old right now, they are the alphas. This probably matches more scenarios where the digital divide and societies economical status are different, or economical sectors are different, but all in all, this can also be used for the entire world or the Western world. Before the alphas are the Gen Zs that we have heard in the news a lot lately, right? They are from 13 to 28 years old. They are also called zillennials. And they are the biggest workforce in the world right now. When they were born, probably not necessarily, there were phones around them. And this is a major difference because the ones that were born since 2013 to now were born in times where there were smartphones. And it's very likely that they had them in their hands at a very young age. Do you think this information is important to you as an English teacher? We're going to make a stop here. And I would like to share with you a video, maybe 2 or 3 minutes of this video, and we will place the link on the chat box for you to take a look at the entire video. When the session is over, yes, you get another cup of coffee and you continue learning. Yes, I have already thanked you for being here, and I have already praised you for developing as a teacher and dedicating your time to professional growth. So I'm also leaving you some homework because I love being a teacher and we teachers love homework. So let's take a look at this video. I'm going to stop. Let's see. Share screen. And this video has to do with, let's see. Can you see the video?
It's totally useless how we are teaching our kids today.
Man kann es sich einfach nicht anders vorstellen. Die Leute haben das immer so erlebt und immer so gemacht und allein schon die Gewohnheit. Man kann es sich einfach nicht anders vorstellen.
Hi, Sama. My name is Daniel. I will be your language teacher for today. What language would you like to learn?
The unemployment is potentially going to continue to go up given the economic strains in society. Training these young people to have the mindset of being job creators is more important now than ever.
What we need to do is help children become fearless about learning, because we are leaving the era in which you can depend on a single skill to last your entire lifetime.
With the impressive advances that technology has made in the last few years, it was just a matter of time until those intelligent machines appeared in the world of education. Robots in the classroom, digital assistants, and AIs are enhancing personalized and remote learning, autocorrections, and access to knowledge at a speed never seen before. These technologies, with many other applications being developed every day, have started to disrupt a field which has tended to be rather conservative.
I'm going to share it one more time because we need 1 more minute. I don't know if I can do it one more time. Let's see.
Have started to disrupt a field which has tended to be rather conservative. These advancements have started to create a buzz and simultaneously brought up some fears. One of those concerns is, will teachers be superfluous one day and entirely substituted by AI?
Hi, Sama. My name is Daniel. I will be your language teacher for today. What language would you like to learn?
I should probably brush up on my Mandarin.
Listen carefully and try to remember and repeat what they say.
我想要一杯咖啡。
White Yang Pan Cafe.
Well, Sama, let's just say you're going to need to practice a bit more.
Okay.
Let me know when you're ready to try again.
How will these technologies affect the role of the teacher in the future?
With the engagement of this artificial intelligence system, the role of the teacher is changing a bit. It's more turning into a mentor rather than to the teacher is teaching you the knowledge.
The teacher's classic figure as a communicator of knowledge could be fading away behind those new AIs and other technologies. But why?
Oftmals glaube ich, dass zu viel standardisiertes Wissen weitergegeben wird und zu wenig Wert gelegt wird auf andere Lern- und Wissensformen, die eben bedeuten, dass man flexibler mit bestimmten Situationen umgehen kann.
Wir müssen weniger Wissen lernen im Laufe der Zeit und mehr können. Das ist, was für uns wichtig ist. Wissen kann man heute natürlich im Internet alles irgendwie nachgucken.
Because already knowledge by itself is not valuable anymore because the knowledge is very accessible, like mostly it's accessible, of course. But the way that the human being is processing it and giving some new knowledge out of generated knowledge, I think that's the most valuable thing.
Knowledge that is just a mouse click away in the ocean of the internet has made it possible for students and many others to access a vast amount of data that years ago was only available to teachers and scholars. How is this affecting the way we teach?
It's totally useless how we are teaching our kids today, starting from kindergarten, ending with university. Like we are preparing the experts of 100 years ago.
There's a boss who sits at the front and they lecture and instruct, and then they give a command, homework, and all kids virtually turn in the same thing. We all are expected to know the exact same thing and to be better than the next person at it. Right? And our success is actually measured in how often we're better than other people at skills we actually have no interest in being good at.
All around the world, every country is funding a public education system, teaching courses that were designed last century.
Und ich glaube, unser Bildungssystem ist relativ träge und langsam. Ich glaube, da müssten jetzt schon wirklich die Weichen gestellt werden.
Is our educational system actually that traditional? Why has it not changed at all in the last 50 years?
Man kann es sich einfach nicht anders vorstellen. Die Leute haben das immer so erlebt und immer so gemacht und allein schon die Gewohnheiten macht es gerade in dem Bereich für viele Menschen sehr angstbehaftet und sehr schwer, wirklich sich etwas ganz anderes vorzustellen.
Since the dawn of mankind, the transmission of knowledge from one generation to another has been an essential part of our lives and history.
All right. We're gonna stop there and we're gonna go back to our presentation. How did you like the video? Tell me in the chat box. Now, will teachers be replaced by AI? Remember the Padlet? Most of the comments related to teaching English in the future had to do with technology. So, to what extent will technology be present in the future of education and in our specific roles as teachers of English or the teaching of English scenario? Are we going to be part of that scenario, or will we be replaced by a robot giving us specific feedback to learn Chinese or Mandarin Chinese? Technology is not an option. It's present. It's part of our everyday life. The internet, maybe artificial intelligence these days, yes, and all the other elements related to that. But it is our choice to let it in the classroom and for what reason and purpose. We are the ones that have the key to make the things in the classroom work. So technology doesn't work, or these days technology doesn't work in the classroom just because it was recently invented. And being innovative is not just bringing something recently developed, recently designed, recently created into the classroom. Being or innovation in the classroom will be present when we use it for a reason, having humans at the center, having human connections at the core of the educational process, of the educational scenario. Innovation is thinking, being creative, and being critical. And we are not the only ones who have to develop critical and creative skills. They will be needed for this present and for the immediate future. We have seen exponential changes. The world has changed very fast, and we have to keep up, but make sense out of it by being creative and critical. In other words, by thinking. So AI is a challenge, but it is also an opportunity. At the end of this session, I would like to have the certainty that we are not going to be replaced. We are going to be the ones that will make things work, whether it's a virtual classroom or a real classroom, or we are present at specific moments in the learning and teaching process. This is information that has to do with AI, but also with humans using current devices or current technology. We need to know everything, not only use it, but we need to know what it can do. So if we are talking about ChatGPT, for example, we need to know what are the possibilities or what the possibilities are with it. We need to have control and use it wisely and effectively. If we are going to reduce times because we have more important things to do, we have to use it. And that brings another aspect to this thinking on how to use it. It is using it ethically. So we know we have it there. We know that it's going to save some time because it's going to help us in specific ways. We know all the things that it can do, but we have to use it ethically. And in our case, as role models in the classroom, we have to teach our students by the example. We have to use it ethically and teach them to use it ethically. And we have to help our students to dream of developing artificial intelligence tools, artificial intelligence software, artificial intelligence things in general, wherever they are, robots. They have to dream of that. They should not think of themselves only as users and having somebody else develop them. For that, they are going to require lots of skills. So it is important for them to dream as being part of this movement of making the world change. We know that it has penetrated society and educational areas, and one thing that has been impacted is their attention span, whether we're talking about kids or we're talking about grown-ups. It is very rare these days not to see somebody, for example, waiting in line to get into the movies or the supermarket to be helped when paying, for example. It's very rare not to see somebody with their phone at hand. And in places where cell phones are allowed, like for example, secondary school or college, it is very frequent, if not saying always, that we see our students with their phones and their laptops, taking pictures instead of writing down. And the moment they open their cell phones or they access their cell phones, it is very rare that they focus on something that has to do with the class. It is more likely that a notification is going to send them very away from where they are. They might be there physically, but their minds are going to be somewhere else, with somebody else that is not present with them, or even worse, interacting with people they do not know. They just relate by watching their videos if we're talking about social media. There are huge challenges ahead, and there are huge challenges in the classrooms right now. I would like you to take a look at this information and try to see if this reflects what's going on in your classes. Yes, people are more keen these days to watch videos, short videos, for an hour or 2 hours or 3 on a day or even more than reading a book. We're just trying to analyze reality. We know that because we go through that also. We get hooked up on these short videos, especially on social media, right? Or even YouTube, because YouTube also has reels, right? Last year, this word was chosen as the word of the year in 2024. The word is brain rot. I didn't know about this word up until 2 weeks, even though I had been exposed to these elements on TikTok described as brain rots. You know what that is, right? Yes. 12 people are telling me in the comments on the chat. Yes. And you know the songs. And there was a play like 2 weeks ago. They were dancing and singing on a scenario here in Lima, in a concert venue. So it's part of reality these days. And kids are singing. That means that they are consuming this information. And probably grown-ups are not necessarily consuming videos that are described as brain rot per se, but they look pretty much like them, right? Because they don't make sense, which is like the core or the essence of this new term. So they are dopamine, they are distraction, and they are distraction that has penetrated the school classroom, has penetrated life, and it's everywhere. You are at the supermarket, you're at the movies, you are talking to your friends, having dinner, having breakfast, celebrating. It's there. So these are not only educational challenges, they are life challenges. What is happening? Brains are in a constant transformational process. And because of that, if we talk about pedagogy, we need to take into account when we develop our classes that kids are unfortunately more keen to get bored more easily than 10 or 15 years ago. If we have been in this teaching of English field for quite some time, such as what I have been doing, yes, you might have seen this. Kids are more prone to get distracted and emotional when you tell them to stop using them. So it might not be happening in class because probably in primary or preschool, they are not allowed or they are not taking their devices with them to class, or maybe they are, I don't know. I mean, everything that I am sharing with you this afternoon that I have gathered with the intention to bring up discussion and analyze together, I would like you to please also, when I mention it, try to refer or try to remember, yes, what is going on in your classes, right? And this is going to help the information today to stay in your minds and to keep on thinking about it, which is the main idea. Yes, let's take a look at this, or let's have this experience as if we were, in a real conversation. which we might if you visit us at the university. So it is said that it is also linked to attention disorders. This short stimuli is designed to keep you connected with this very called algorithm, right? The content is a word that has changed. It has a new meaning. In the past, content was something else, right? There used to be an approach that had the name or had the term inside. But now content has a different meaning. Content is what social networks serve you, yes, because of your likes, right? So your content might be different to mine. But with these challenges come opportunities. Opportunities for personalized learning, for having different ways of teaching in one same space, because you are going to cater for the specific needs of the students, of the 20, 15, or 40 students, depending to the access that you have to AI tools and the access that you fortunately have to technology in your educational scenarios. But everything that we do has to aim at this number 9, well-being. Education is about well-being, gathering things to construct our well-being. How are we going to do that? With dialogue, by developing empathy in the classroom, whether we're working with kids or with grown-ups. Human connection, giving students feedback, creating situations for talking and learning and enjoying the educational experience. It's easier, I think, when we teach English, because English is a skill. It is actually these days described as a life skill. It is considered as important and as necessary as critical and creative thinking, as social or soft skills, as communicative skills, and as all those skills that help us thrive and have a fulfilling life. So what are we going to do? Are we going to panic? No, AI is here. No, because we're using it. I know that people, I was the other day at the supermarket, and I saw a person having a very engaged conversation with her. I guess it. I don't know if it was Gemini or ChatGPT, with her her AI tool, and he was responding, and he was, for me, it was a little scary. I'm not alpha. I'm not zillennial. I might be millennial. I have to check on the age and the and the period. But people are engaging on conversations with AI and are using it outside the educational framework, right? Some even from the very moment they wake up. And we also need to take that into account and help people learn to use it, to use AI critically, effectively, and ethically. So what are we going to do with AI in the classroom? First, we have to, just like I said, help students develop AI literacy. So we do not, or we should not, see ourselves only as teachers of English or instructors, which was a term, that was used many years ago. Our role is different now. And that's why I always tell people to embark on the beautiful journey of learning how to be a teacher of English, or an effective teacher of English. So you can choose a university, or you can choose any other place where they teach how to teach English, but do it, because you will have more elements to make wise decisions, correct decisions in your class. And the first thing that you will learn is that to teach English, you not only need to speak the language. Because if that were the case, I would be able to speak Spanish or I do speak Spanish, but I would be able to teach Spanish to people that, come to Peru and want to learn, and that's not the case. I might have some elements because we are, or in my case, I have been a professional of languages for a very long time. But to thrive as teachers, to flourish, to enjoy being an English teacher, you need to know how to do it. And one of the things that you will learn is that when you teach English, you teach things that go beyond or get out of the English classroom. Communicative skills, you help people enlarge their vocabularies, you make them read, and now we are adding new tasks. We have to help students become AI literate by teaching them AI literacy. You're not going to go to the classroom and explain, with a PowerPoint presentation or a Canva or a Google Slides, what AI literacy is. It's going to be done in a natural and organic way, fostering in your students to use it ethically and to use it for a reason, for a specific purpose. So it is said that AI literacy is the technical knowledge, durable skills, and future-ready attitudes required to thrive in a world influenced by AI. It enables learners to engage, create with, manage, and design AI while critically evaluating its benefits, risks, and ethical implications. And this is a definition that is being used by the most prestigious places that focus on helping humans make sense of their lives, of the world. UNESCO, the European Community, and ACT, among others. So, what do you use? Do you use Gemini? Do you use ChatGPT? What are your students using? I'm mentioning things that could be used as potential investigations. Start doing research. Pass a survey, a Padlet, probably. I like Padlet, so that's why we used it. But you can use a Google form and ask your students how much time a day do they use it and what for. If you follow us on Instagram, we also shared a little survey there some days ago. Did you know that it was created just a few years ago? Did you know that back in the day when it was created, that was 2022, right from the start, right? ChatGPT was used by 1 million people. And right now we have 700 million people using it. And they aim at having 1 billion using ChatGPT by the end of this year. How do you like those stats? We're going to watch a second video while we digest this. Are we in those millions? Yes, we are. I am. Let's share a second video. Let's see. I'm going to stop and share. Tell me if you can see the video.
I want to say that the biggest revolution AI is bringing to education is not that it's going to make math more fun for you or it's going to explain Shakespeare like you're 5 years old. The biggest revolution AI is bringing to education is that it's highlighting the system's failed incentives. Because why should anybody study when we've told them the whole time that all that matters at the end isn't the process, it's the A+. Why should they actually put in all the hard work to write draft after draft for an essay when the feedback is just B? No extra notes, nothing to motivate them to want to learn harder. And these companies are much faster than our institutions. Most recently, OpenAI Google, Anthropic have all been giving away their most powerful models for free until the end of May, which, as you might guess, is exactly during the time of finals. So we are putting these tools completely unregulated in front of vulnerable students right at the time where they're most desperate to use them. And yet these companies will say AI is going to revolutionize education, particularly through personalization. Company after company will say that through personalized tutoring, AI is going to revolutionize education and make it so much better for everyone. And why not, right? The image of a one-on-one tutor is so compelling. Talking to a person, feeling this connection, getting my education customized just for me, it sounds amazing. And today, education looks like this. A teacher in front of an army of students. And if the technologists believe that the ideal looks like this, one teacher, one student, then why not just flip out the teacher for an AI? And then the next step is an army of AIs with an army of students. Sounds like a perfect model of education. Except perfection is not what we should strive for when it comes to learning. We don't want engineers that studied how to build bridges in perfect conditions, because the real world is everything but perfect. It's full of messes. And amidst all this noise, I don't see any of these companies asking, what is the student meant to learn with AI? Because if the idea is to make getting that A+ easier, then I'm not interested. We're going to just waste 12 to 15 years of our lives, but more efficiently now, doing exams we're not going to remember a day after graduation.
All right, we're going to go back to the presentation. Let's see. Excellent. There is one word I hope you get and stays with you from this video. We have placed too much emphasis on the product, on the grade, on the summative evaluation, on praising kids for getting A's or 20s or 100s, for the certificate in the case of grown-ups. And probably because of that, some people might tend to use these AI or generative AI tools maybe not as ethically as they should, because they are more worried about the product. So what in other times should have been done in 2-3 weeks is being done in 2 days or maybe in 2 minutes. And it's not what they did. It's something that the tool made for them. So are they to blame? Not necessarily. That's why they need to know how to use it, and they need to know that there is an element of ethics related or connected to the use of AI. And more importantly, or in addition to the ethics, we have to start enjoying the process. And we have to place more emphasis, as it was mentioned in the video, on the human connection that develops or is present because of education in classrooms. Or even like right now, there is a camera, there is a screen, like that is sort of a barrier, but to some extent, because I can read you here in the chat. You have given some information to enrich today's presentation with a digital tool. We have watched a video together, and we are here because of a specific topic. So that is connecting us. So these technological devices and technological software and current innovations are not a demon. They represent challenges, but they also give us many opportunities. and we have to know how to use them effectively. Do not use them and become addicted to them, but use them wisely. So if we tell the students that they need to give us an essay, and we give them only 1 week, and we are not there, for example, for the first draft or for the second draft, and the only thing we see is the final product, it is very likely that they will use a device to help them. So what are we going to do? One of our decisions is going to be present or more present, or to include elements in the rubrics to enjoy the process, and even more to start doing those things that we used to assign as homework in the classroom. What are those things? Reading and writing. There have been in government scenarios in certain countries, there have been decisions. For example, Australia, they have very recently banned the use of YouTube for kids under 16. So you are 15 years old, you cannot have access to YouTube, you cannot have a YouTube channel, you cannot create content, you cannot become a YouTube creator, yes, and monetize. Portugal, in an attempt to reduce the bullying that has left the classroom and has penetrated bedrooms and houses, they have banned the use of cell phones in schools. And there is one piece of information that I wanted to share with you related to our country. There is like a maximum number of hours that is precisely for kids under 2, half an hour, that kids should be exposed to screens, videos, or any type of content. So in our country, kids under 5 are using 75% more than the time that they should be allowed to watch a screen. What impact is that going to have on their brains? Well, the first thing that is going to be affected is, as we saw in previous slides, the attention span. The second thing is that, this easy dopamine, this high dose of dopamine is going to make them be prone, or is going to make them ask for the cell phone for, the whole day. Because nothing or nobody is going to be able to substitute that high dose of dopamine, those bright colors, and other things that could happen as a consequence are, damage to the eyes, to their hands, to their heads, to their necks. I wanted to share more information about Peru. Can you find Peru in this chart? Yes. All right. Let's take a look. This is another chart with information about Peru. In the first one, they are describing in the purple circle the countries where they see that crime affects everyday life, and Peru's percentage is very high, right? That's what we are seeing from this Ipsos survey called "What Worries the World," right? So all the world is here. This is Peru. There's more information about Peru. Economy is this item. Economy is rigged to advantage the rich and the powerful in Peru, which is the second in this chart. In Peru, we say yes. Economy, gives advantage to only some people. This is a worldwide survey. These are the items where I found Peru like at the top. In the first place, crime and violence. Is it something that worries you in your country? Peru is number 1. Climate change, is it something that worries you? No. Peru is like at the bottom, right? We are the fifth from down up. And probably it doesn't worry us because we are among the most diverse countries in the world. And here is where English teachers are necessary. They are necessary for helping the kids and the adults become scientists because we have wonderful nature in our country, diversity that pushes us to make studies on it, whether it's animals, plants, birds, whether it's the earth, the minerals. Everything is asking us to become scientists and study that, study all our rich diversity. How many scientists graduate from your schools, from your colleges? We are a country with wonderful food. Yeah, I mean, nobody can deny that. We win all the prizes, all the panes, all the chicharrones, everything. But we need to help students make use of these new technological devices and see outside the classrooms our wonderful diversity and merge them. And how are they going to become scientists? English is going to be a decisive tool in their professional growth, in their professional aims. Last year in Lima, at the university, we had the wonderful opportunity to meet, I guess it was 20 or maybe a bit more. They are called explorers. They are scientists. They are doctors, biologists, archaeologists. They are doctors who study nature, and they have many places to study and create papers, academic papers about in our country. Some of them were Peruvian. Some were studying bears in the Andes, wildlife in the Amazon, also in the coastal parts of Arequipa, where these bones from I guess it was dinosaur or whales or bones were found. These people are so intelligent and adventurous, and we need to see in them models. We need to help people understand that English is going to be the key to their professional growth, to arriving at this place that they dream of after studying in college or studying in school. There are some more pieces of information that I want to share with you. Where, as I said, should people become AI literate? In the classrooms. Unfortunately, most of them are becoming literate through social media, informal sources of information. So we need to balance things. It has to be covered in classrooms, right? And one of the things that as institutions and as a country has to be done is reduce the digital gap. There are people in Lima with 2, 3, 4, cell phones at home, 2, 3, 4 TVs and computers. But there are people in the city, in the whole country, where there are people that don't have technological devices, and that is a barrier to thriving, which is a word that I have been using a lot because well-being is the main aim of education. Well-being, having fun, enjoying life. Our role is a role of teaching English, of course, but also we are role models. And we are there to teach students how to make sense of this complex world where unfortunately we see violence, we see crime, but we also see opportunities. So one opportunity is science. One opportunity is our rich diversity. We have to help them see what is good about our country and also think critically and have English as a tool to go through the world, maybe with a cell phone or maybe actually going. This is important. Educators' long-term success in teaching AI literacy depends on integrating new learning goals with existing priorities and having access to high-quality initial teacher training and continuous professional development that builds AI-informed pedagogy. We have mentioned it some minutes ago. These days, to be a qualified teacher of English, we not only need to speak the language correctly with a B2 or a C1, we need to know how to teach. And a program that you choose for helping you become a teacher of English needs to cover these topics widely and profoundly. AI, digital tools, how to use them effectively, ethically in the classroom. So we cannot close our eyes and pretend that it doesn't exist because the students are using it and chances are they know how to use it even better than we do. So we have to start learning how to use it, and that's the fountain of youth. Learning is what makes us feel powerful, is what makes us feel youthful, is what makes us smile. Teachers love learning. So we have here a huge place for learning about AI, how to use it, how to make sense of it. It is important for us to embark on situations for learning about AI. There are standards designed in the world that describe us as designers, facilitators, analysts. Do you see yourself as an analyst? Learners, leaders, citizens, and collaborators. That's what we are. Facilitators, motivators, coaches, but primarily learners. We are 7 minutes away from finishing, and I would like to make sense out of this big information. As you can see, we haven't even opened ChatGPT, but we have talked about it. You know how to use it. Maybe you don't use ChatGPT, maybe you use Gemini or any other AI generative tool, and you want to know to what extent it should be used in the classroom. These are some suggestions that not only restrain to the use of generative AI, but go a little bit broader to see the place of technology in these days and what is expected from us in the near future, 2030, 2050. 2030 is going to be very different from 2025. And 2050, I think it's very difficult to imagine it. But here are some suggestions. My first suggestion in class is make people read, providing students with real books. Why? I don't think, giving them a book will be enough. Taking a book home doesn't necessarily confirm that they will read. We don't want a summary. Here we are not saying that we are going to assign homework. answer comprehension, reading comprehension test. No. Reading for the sake of reading, for the pleasure of it, for creating silent moments, for finding ourselves, our own voices, for having quiet times. The second thing is handwriting. We want the students to make sense out of this crazy world, out of this challenging world, out of these pop-up technology things that are coming up every day. And for that, they need to be creative, they need to be critical, and they need to know how to think, to have complex ways of thinking. Handwriting will give them, or will make them close to that aim. Handwriting is a very powerful tool to make our brain grow, to make our brain stronger. Something else is make students ask questions, whether they write them or they say them, to make conversations going, to keep conversations going. We don't pay too much attention to questions when we design exams. Something else is to keep a log. You keep a log of what goes well and what doesn't in your class. Something else that might sound probably odd, because we have been talking about technology a lot, but they are already using a lot of technology outside the classroom. So my question is, why sending them to use their smartphones in class? Chances are they are not going to do what you told them to. Because while they are doing that, a TikTok notification will pop up, or an Instagram one, or some other social network, and you will lose the student. You will lose their attention. So if you are going to make use of smartphones in class, make sure that there is a real and necessary objective, or there is a real necessity. Use music, make students work in pairs, work in groups, yes. Show the type of music that they do not usually have access to. If they always listen to some type of music, enrich the experience by making them close to music that maybe you like, that they haven't heard of. In the video, in the second video, it was mentioned that the school paradigm was a teacher in front of a group of people. But we saw in the images that the future doesn't necessarily look that way. That is why we say that the school paradigm has changed. So schools have to change. And ethics on how to use AI have to be part of the everyday conversation in institutions. There are many skills that they will need, and they are profoundly explained in the OECD paper that I will share with you together with the certificate through a link, okay? These skills have to do with work, and they have to do with life. And these skills might be needed when they look for a job, or they will make the decisions of what they will do, I mean, as a work life. There are some jobs that might not be that necessary in 10 or 20 years, but there are others that will. And what are those skills? There are cognitive skills, metacognitive skills, social and emotional skills, physical and practical. Metacognitive skills are probably, have been under discussion for the past 10 years. So they have to be there. We will talk about at the end of the session in 2 minutes on metacognitive skills. So these are questions that probably will keep us pondering. How can we prepare students for jobs that have not been created yet? How can we prepare students to tackle challenges that we can't yet imagine? How can we prepare students to use technologies that have not yet been invented? So here comes one important suggestion. Do not teach the specifics. Do not teach students how to use ChatGPT. Teach them the principle, what it is for and why they should use them and when they shouldn't. How can we equip students to thrive in an interconnected world where they need to understand and appreciate different perspectives and worldviews? Reading is a core and important element for this. It is it's been shown and proved that reading helps develop empathy, understand people in our diverse world. And how can we equip students to take responsible actions towards sustainability and collective well-being? The pandemic was a perfect scenario for understanding that as a group, we can survive. If we help each other, we will thrive. We know that the students need specific skills, and one that is particularly important and present in the teaching of English is the social and emotional. They do in our classes something that they do not necessarily do in other educational scenarios. They talk. They say what they did yesterday, what they did last week, what they want to do in their future vacations, what they did for a holiday, what's their favorite holiday, what's their mother like, what's their father like, and so many things that they are not asked about in other circumstances. And I have seen that students love going to the English class. In the past, I used to observe a lot. I don't observe as much these days, but what I do is analyze and develop ideas that are later implemented in English classes. And these are some of them. We had the pleasure of seeing this very well explained by Jair Felix in August, just 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yes, this is material designed by National Geographic Learning that expands the idea of AI literacy, because they tell us that we also need to help students develop these days literacies: media literacy, visual literacy, social literacy, textual literacy, and global literacy. Make sure that you are part of the decision for selecting the right material for your classes. For that, you need to be an educated professional and choose a book that helps you make students learn the language for communicating, not for passing a test. Because communication is going to make them have brighter lives, whether it's communicating in their mother tongue or communicating in English. I would like to finish up with information about reading, because at the university, in our English program, we have a special program specific for students of English. We let them take books home and we make them read in class. We take the books to the classrooms. I would like more institutions to adopt, to embrace this, because we need to read more. We need to have quiet times away from screens, to enjoy screens even more, and to make the right decision on what content to feed on from our screens. And because it is necessary to make to become probably better professionals, people that can be more empathetic, that can develop tolerance because of the wonderful stories that carry good books. As it is mentioned here, reading makes us more critical, more creative, and it can transform our brains. It has in the past years. Teaching English in the age of AI is different to teaching English 5 years ago, 10 years ago. There are things that are going on these days. One thing, for example, is gamification. But gamification is not a technique. Gamification is an approach that includes things from teaching kids to the adult scenario, where there is play, there is the element of curiosity. So including, for example, an activity in Quizlet is not gamification. Gamification is being innovative and including in your class an element that makes the students be curious and creative. Microlearning is also something that is part of the dynamics or will be part of the dynamics of teaching English, in a shorter term, in a not very distant future. And what is that? Microlearning has to do with learning on our own or learning, in very short terms, maybe with videos from YouTube, from Vimeo, from documentaries, from TED. And these are the three principles that will help us stay focused and that will push you to have or to develop classes in a different way from now on. There are three things that are part of the AI that are not necessarily mentioning what specific AI tool you will use. One is autonomous learning. So if you choose material for teaching English, make sure that it has a platform or an element that will give students instant feedback. That will expand the possibilities of learning, that will expand the number of hours of exposure to the language. Autonomous learning is part of the scenario now. We evaluate it. We tell the students we have to do 30, 27, 25 hours of English in a specific time period, and it's something that they have to do because it's part of the program. So add that up to your programs, autonomous learning. And autonomous learning will become a tool for life. You will like and love learning on your own. The second one is learning to learn. We have to find ways to forget ways we learned and to embrace new ways of learning and keep on learning. And finding, for example, now people learn things through YouTube. And this is a way in which we are learning and exchanging and enriching our professional lives. And the last one is lifelong learning. And for these teachers, they are the best because we are in our hearts, long life learners. ATLV is a term in Spanish that stands for aprendizaje para toda la vida. And that's what we need to do. As universities, we have a responsibility, the responsibility of helping societies get better. We do that with our undergraduate programs, with our postgraduate programs, with the specialization program. We have to foster debate and we have to make people closer to scientific content. That's what we do. That's what we work very hard for. When you listen to somebody suggesting you to include an element of technology in class, please ask yourself, is this a person trying to sell me something, or is this a person that wants me to better the way I teach? Is this something that will help my students or will distract them? Technology will never replace you. You are at the core of the educational dynamic, of the educational process. You will not be replaced. You will make things happen and you will make it the right way. We have two things coming up at the university that have to do with teaching English. One is a presentation on how to teach English to kids and how to teach English to grown-ups. We feel we have to continue creating moments for discussing these topics. Yes, there was only one slide related to this, and there is more to say. And in the program, there is even more. We have led the educational field, and we will continue doing it. And I want you to have that in your heart and to feel proud of being an English teacher. So this is the presentation that I told you. It's going to take place on Tuesday, October 21st. Yes. Our specialist, Nilda Bazan, will be in charge of it. You know what I love about being an English teacher, or having been an English teacher for a very long time now? Every time I meet somebody that I taught or somebody that I worked with and see them flourishing, which is a synonym for thrive. And recently, or in the past 8 years, seeing the graduates of the program. That is something that makes me proud, and I'm sure you are very proud and very happy when you meet your students outside your classroom. I want you to have a fulfilling life and to feel proud of being an English teacher. If you want more information about the program, please contact us. I would like to thank SBS for the opportunity for the third consecutive year of getting to your homes on your times that should be dedicated to relaxing, to helping you grow as an English teacher. There is more that we can share, so hopefully we will meet one more time next year. Yes, and if not at the university, we want to finish the presentation with this opportunity. If you want to know about the program and want to pass the interview, for everybody that attended the session, it will be free because, I mean, there is a payment involved. Please take a look at these conclusions when you get the summary, and make sure that your students talk a lot and that they learn how to use AI and all digital elements in your class with you, that you learn with them, that you let them be part of the decisions, let them have a voice in your class, make them give presentations, evaluate and assign, not homework, autonomous learning. Yes, and if you can help in shortening the digital divide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Monica, for the amazing conference about the future of English. I'm pretty sure everyone took notes and they have their pointers. So that was excellent. Thank you, everyone, for joining in today. Remember that you have to complete the form to receive the certificate within 10 business days. And just don't forget to register your attendance. You can use the QR now. The QR code will appear now. So we will see each other in the next set of conferences. So thank you very much. Have a good night.